everybody, it's Alicia from Papercraft Secrets. Today I am doing a little video all about Kaisercraft templates. The Kaisercraft templates come in 3 different sizes. This one here is the 6x6 size. There's the little mini template size, and there's the larger 12x12 template size. The 12x12 templates can fit on a whole 12x12 layout page. The 6x6, you can use them on a layout, or you can use them for more of a card size project. And the little mini templates, they can be used again on anything, and they fit on this little ring. They've got the hole punched through, and you can slip them onto a ring, and that just helps you store them. And then you can flick through and find the template that best suits your project. I just want to point out that I'm completely self-taught when it comes to templates, and this is just how I use them in my crafting. I'm not saying that it's the only way to use them, but it's just some little tips that I have found that I just wanted to share that might help other people use templates in their own crafting. The first technique I want to show you today is using inks with a template. Using inks is a fairly clean way to use a template. They dry quickly, they're easy to clean up, and they're quite forgiving, so it's a good place to start if you haven't used a lot of templates in the past. So I'm just going to use this little flower template here, which I love. I'm going to use this dark pink ink, and you just go in with the ink you can sort of go in a circular motion, or just a sort of you're just shading over the top, putting the ink through the template onto the white cardstock. And if you lift that up, you can see how that's come through onto the cardstock. And you can see how that gives a nice soft edge to the template. If you wanted to fill the whole page with the template, you can sort of cover more of the area. You can see there how that sort of covers a lot more of the area. With inking through templates, it's not a very accurate, you're getting a mixed media effect, so it's not going to be exactly accurate. You can see how I made a little bit of an error there. You've got to be kind of forgiving to yourself with any little errors that you make, and just sort of see it as part of the design. And if I just add a little bit more ink around the edges of this cardstock, you can see how I can kind of disguise that extra bit of ink there as part of my design. Now I'm just going to go back and fill in a little bit of these white spaces to create, I'm basically creating a pattern piece. I made a little bit of an error there too, but that's all kind of just part of it. Try to think to yourself, this is mixed media, it's not going to be perfect. What comes out, is all part of the process of art. This little piece of cardstock that I'm decorating could be used on a card, or it could be used on a tag, or it could be even used as a layer in a scrapbook layout. The next thing I want to do is mix 2 colours of inks. So I'm going to use a light pink and the dark pink to show you how you don't have to just stick with one ink colour. You can actually use 2 or more colours to create a different effect. So here I'm just going to make a diagonal line with the lighter pink colour. Then I'm going to add the dark pink in along the top and the bottom of the lighter pink, so you can see how you can create a multicolored effect. The second technique I wanted to share today is the using of texture paste with a template. These are two of the texture pastes that I have in my craft room at the moment. I have also used other texture pastes, so it's personal preference as to which one you would like to use. Today I'm just going to go with this. You need one of these spatula tools to mix and smooth your texture paste over the template. So I just put some out onto a plastic plate, and I'm going to just use texture paste on its own. So I'm going to choose a coloured piece of cardstock with this template because it's a very soft effect when you only use texture paste and you don't add anything to it. So you just spread the texture paste with the spatula over the template, and you're trying to achieve a smooth finish without the template lifting too much from the page. Sometimes I make the template a little bit wet with water on the back just so that it sticks to the page a little bit better. You don't really want too much paste. You don't want it too thick, you just want a nice smooth layer over the template. Once you are happy with that, you're going to carefully peel the template back to reveal the pattern on the cardstock. And that looks so pretty. The thing with that is that when the texture paste is wet, it looks a lot whiter than when it is dry. If you want it to stay white, then you need to add some white paint to the texture paste, and I'll show you how to do that in the next bit. To clean the template, use a baby wipe first, gently. Try to get most of the paste off the template, and then you can wash it with water. You don't want too much of that texture paste going down the drain in your sink because it can block the sink. The next thing is I'm going to show you how to mix some paint with the texture paste to achieve a coloured effect. So for this one I'm just mixing in some purple Kaisercraft paint with the same texture paste so that the pattern that comes through on my cardstock will be purple. When you are planning your template, consider the design of your layout. In this layout, for example, I did a diagonal effect of embellishments, and underneath the embellishments I did some texture paste in gold so that it would just peep out from behind my design. So today I'm going to follow this same kind of design and keep the purple template in a diagonal line, imagining that I would then cover that up with photos and embellishments. So I'm going to choose this 12 by 12 sheet to make it easier for myself, and I'm just keeping it in that diagonal line from one corner to the other. The next technique I wanted to show you was how you can use paint with the template without the texture paste. The texture paste gives more of a 3D effect, whereas the paint leaves a very 2D, a flat effect. So you don't have to use texture paste. If you want to, you can just use some paint and a foam brush or a paintbrush to create a different effect. With this one, I'm not going to cover the whole page. I'm just going to do random little blotches all over the page to create a patterned page. I wanted to show you also how it depends on the amount of paint that you apply as to the type of effect that you want. So with this piece here, I'm going to cover the whole cardstock with paint. At the start of the template now, I'm using a lot of paint to really cover all the white. And then as I gradually go down, I'm not using as much paint and I'm just sort of creating a more, blotchy, effect. And you'll see when I lift up the template the difference. So you can see how with the less amount of paint, it gives a totally different look to when you're putting a lot of paint in and trying to fill up every white spot on the page. So I'm just going to go back to this page now, and I'm just going to use my fairly dry paintbrush to just add a little bit more to the page, and it's sort of not accurate, like I'm just kind of going randomly over the spaces. I'm not ensuring that every space is filled, and you can see how it gives a different look. Now I want to show you how you can go back over the top of that dried page with some ink and a different template to create more texture to the page. So this is bark ink from Kaisercraft and a small mini template, and I'm just going right over the top of the dry paint with the dark ink to add more effects to the page. So you can effectively create your own paper to suit the colours in your photograph just using templates and inks and paints. Now that that has dried, again I'm choosing a different template with black ink, and I'm going to go over the top again and pressing quite hard to get the ink down into those little spaces to create some blobs of ink over the page. Different technique using misting sprays. If you have some misting sprays at home, you can spray these through the template to create a different effect. You can mix colours with your mist too. You don't have to stick with the same colour. In this example, I'm using 2 different blues to create a wave look. That would be a good background for a beachy layout. You get quite a lot of mist on the top of your template, so you can actually turn your template over and stamp some of that mist back onto your page as well, and then you're not wasting your mist that you'd otherwise just wipe off. The last technique I wanted to show you is totally mess-free, and it is just by using the Kaisercraft gel pens. You can actually colour an intricate design onto your cardstock, and you can control exactly how it comes out. So here I'm just using a neon orange colour from the Kaisercraft gel pens, and I'm just carefully colouring within the lines of the template to create the pattern. So let's just do a quick recap now of all the different techniques from this video. First of all, just the simple inking through a template, even 1 or 2 colours to create a background effect, or to just add a little bit of texture to a layer, and that was using this floral template. Secondly was just the straight texture paste through the template, and you can see how now that it's dried, that it's lost that white look that you saw earlier, and it's now just more of a kind of clear, opaque, I don't know, sort of an opaque-y, creamy, whitey look, but it's not a bright white. This is very subtle. If you want something more dramatic, then you add the paint of your choice to the texture paste to create a coloured look, or if you want white, then you just add white to the texture paste. This takes quite a while to dry. You can use a heat gun, or you can leave it to dry on its own, to dry naturally. The next technique was just using paint through a template with a foam brush. You can use a lot of paint to make it thick and bright, or you can use a little bit less paint to give it that sort of softer look. Following on from that, you can then you can ink over the top with the template in multiple colours, multiple times with different templates, to create your very own unique patterned piece of paper to suit your project. Then there's the alternative of using a spray mist in a template to create a different effect, and this really suits the water look if you're doing a beach layout or something like that, because it really gives that watery look to your background page. And for the final technique was to use a gel pen with the template to create an accurate result that could be used in the final stages as embellishing your project. And so there are so many unique ways you can use templates for your craft and artwork. There is no limit to what you can create with a template. It's all about experimenting and trying new things and just having fun with it. So just wanted to say thank you very much for watching today, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love for you to leave me a comment telling me what you found helpful in the video. Maybe you have a different technique that other people could use with their templates, or maybe you have an idea for a future video. Please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel, share it with your friends. Pop on over to my blog at www.papercraftsecrets.com.au and sign up to my email list. You can get a free colouring in page. I have giveaways every single month on my Facebook page and on my blog. And there are so many exciting things coming up that if you're on the email list, you're the first person to know about them. So thank you very much for watching and have a beautiful crafty day.